All right, guys. Hey, welcome to another episode of Dog Talk. Michael J. Solar here, representing Dog Talk, Blue Line Canine, Dog Owner University, and so much more. Because this is where we're going to be able to chit-chat with you and get you free dog training information, tips and tricks, interviews with other dog training businesses. So this is really exciting for me to continue this, as you can guess. So tonight's episode is taking place in my office where I've been working tirelessly on building Dog Owner University. But tonight, we've been coming up with a few things that have been going on lately. So basically, every time we talk to different clients, it gives me new ideas on stuff that I want to talk about. And tonight, I'm going to be going over a couple of common things that happen when we bring puppies home or when we bring new dogs home that we want to address. So one of them is going to be teaching your dog to wait at the door, as well as giving you some house training tips, so housebreaking tips. So again, like always, we want to make sure that everybody knows that at any point in time, you could feel free to ask any questions that you would want to ask. You just go ahead and post it below in the comment section. It'll pop up on my screen, and we will address your comments at any point in time. I really always love to have everybody interacting with me and being a part of this, so please feel free to comment anything below. Telling me that would you like, asking questions, anything that can happen. So again, if you're watching this and you have a couple of questions, feel free to pop in because either two things will occur. One, we'll address your question right away and giving you the tip that you need to create that strong bond with your dog. Or two, it can go into a header of another show and we'll make sure that we put together a video or something of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over because I want to teach you guys and I don't want to waste too much time. So I want to go right into teaching you guys wait at the door. So without any further ado, let me go ahead. Thanks, Felicia. How about now? Does it work now? I guess that I can't do the individual screen on this one. So, okay. So let's go back into this. So the general rules of this is really, really simple. It's wait at the door. So general rules to have your the most success here is you never want to block the view or access to the puppy, all right, or your dog. So an adult dog as well. It's going to go for either or the same. And the reason why is that when you block the viewpoint, so if the dog can't see what's on the other side of the door because your body's staying in the way, not only did you lose vision of the dog, but now the dog is going to try to figure out a way to get through your legs and right out the door they go because they're interested to see what's on the other side. So be mindful that you want to create more of a release command than a stay command. So then that way you can always watch your dog and not the access point because you want to teach the dog that there's an automatic stay, that they only go through that door when you say so. So this is one of those big things that you want to look at when we're teaching this. So let's go through this again real quick. So if you got your pen and paper, really quick, easy rules. Never block the view or access to the doorway from your dog. Release commands, not stay commands, because you want your dog to automatically have a stay and not bolt through that door. And last but not least, watch your dog, not the access point. Your guests are coming over or the pizza guy is going to wait there until you pay them anyway. So don't worry about it. Take your time. So in the next slide here, we're going to show you the wrong way, which is blocking the access point and not watching your dog. So as you can see in the picture here, and if you zoom in, I'm not sure if we can, I cannot, but if you zoom in, if you look at the photograph there on the right-hand side, you'll see that Teresa is blocking the doorway from the dog. But if you'll also notice that the dog is now automatically in between her legs, she can't see the dog, which means the dog can bolt right through the door. So what we mean by not blocking the access is simply this. Stand behind the door. So now that when the door opens, your dog is able to see the viewpoint first and foremost. Right? So this is the kind of thing that you want to look at, is because this is where you want to be able to say, look, I'm going to watch the dog, so then that way I can control the door. Because if the dog tries to go through, I can close the door. So that way I prevent the dog from going through this. So that's the kind of stuff you want to look at for that kind of point. You might want to like... so the next one we're going to go at here is, this is a little video I'm going to play for you. So this is how it's supposed to be done. So you'll see her move the door, open and close very rapidly. And as you can see, the puppy is not going through the door. The dog is now slightly confused by the door opening and closing, and the puppy just stays back. And because the puppy's staying back, you are now able to say, okay, now it's free to go. Right? So I'm going to play it again. I'm not going to try to talk over it. So I want you to pay attention to the door. Puppy tries to go through, the door closes. As the puppy backed up, the door opened again. It's an open and close thing. The other funny part about this is you'll notice that I'm talking, Teresa is not. So there's no verbal cues coming from the handler in the video. It's just simple, move the door, close the door. Let the dog figure out that if the dog stays still, the door opens up. They get the reward, which is on the other side. Their curiosity of what's on the other side of that door is the reward. You don't need treats or anything like that. So I'm going to let you watch the video one more time. Perfect, right? I also want to show you a different angle. So you'll see the doors is dead center. Teresa's here. We're just over the shoulder. Same exact drill. Be gentle with the door. You don't need to hit the dog with the door. All you're doing is preventing access. So again, you'll watch how the puppy sticks the nose through. The door closes. So the puppy's like, well, I don't want the door to close on me. So it backs up, waits a little bit, waits, looks. All right, and the reward is going through the door. Real short, simple stuff, right? Again, another angle just for the success point. And as you can see, that is weighed at the door. All right, so when we think about these kinds of things, we have to think about what are we really mainly teaching here. What we're teaching the dog every day is how to live in our lives with us, right? So waiting at the door is a crucial point. You want to practice this every time you go to the doorway. And I mean every time you go to the doorway. Once your dog realizes that no matter how many times that door opens or where it opens, they only go through with release commands. Now, what is a good release command? That is a typical question that's always asked. And I believe in the KISS system, which is keep it simple, stupid. All right? Really, isn't it, Aaron? A really cute puppy. So that's a great point of where we bring this up, is because when you think of the KISS system of keep it simple, it's very simple. If you're going outdoors, just say outside. If you're coming back in the house, say inside. It's literally that simple. And then what will happen is as you repeat this command over and over and over again, and you go through these repetitive actions every time you go through the door, you'll find that your dog will never go through that threshold, no matter how open that door is, unless you say the command of outside or inside. And that creates an automatic stay command. So you don't have to worry about stressing out with the stay and being all those points, because if you'll notice in those videos, it was very short, simple things. And Erin, who posted below, can contest that that was her puppy, so you can see how quick and easy these things come together. All right, so now we want to go into housebreaking. Housebreaking is something that comes up, again, all the time, and thank you. I'm happy. I love it. So the big thing that we're going to go into now with housebreaking is making it, again, simple and easy for everybody. And at the bottom, at the end of this, we also have some things that we're going to get into with that as well. So we're going to go into housebreaking now. And again, grab your pen and paper, big things that pop up all the time. And again, we want to give you simple rules to make the most success. So with housebreaking, the key here is keep your puppy on a schedule. If your dog eats or drinks, they're going to have to go outside. This is not rocket science. If they drink water, within 30 minutes, they're going to have to go to the bathroom. If they eat food, within an hour or two, they're going to have to go to the bathroom. So remember to make sure you put this on a schedule, not just going out, but also in consumptions, right? So if you're feeding or drinking or giving water to your dog, make sure that you have the availability to get them outside within a timely manner. When out, keep them leashed. So if you have a young puppy and they're out and about running around in a house, they should be dragging along a leash. This does a couple of things for you. Number one, it gets your dog used to wearing the leash. Now, a lot of times puppies stick to you as the owner. They do because they're not mature enough to start going out on their own. So a lot of times they stay by you. They're constantly following you. And a big mistake people make is that they don't take the time getting their dogs used to wearing a leash. So my suggestion is normally that you put a puppy in a harness and you allow them to drag the leash around. It gets them used to it. And if they do get caught on something, you don't have to worry about it hurting their neck. But you want them to drag it around. So that way, if the dog does start to have an accident in the house, you can grab the leash and get them outside. Where if you pick them up or try to chase them, it becomes more of a game and you've essentially rewarded them going to the bathroom in the house. All right. Rule number 3, contain your puppy in a crate or pen when they're not supervised. Just think of it like little kids, okay? If I have a 1 or 2 year old and I have to go cook dinner, they're going to go into a playpen. So I can put my dog into a playpen as well, or I can put them in a crate because I'm unable to supervise them at that point in time. So I'm going to prevent them from having an accident or doing something that's unwanted. So that point in time they're unable to be supervised, I'm going to put them in a little crated area or a playpen area so they're not supervised. Also, never punish mistakes, all right? Because, and we'll get into this whole other thing, but dogs are creatures of attention and affection. So when they're having an accident and you make a big deal out of it, they're more becoming scared of you than they are of realizing going to the bathroom in the house is a problem. And we always want to make sure that you stay as the highest value to your dog. Remember, you're building a relationship here. And relationships shouldn't be built on fear and control. They should be built on love, attention, bonding, trust, all good things, right? Because then again, we want to do more for the yes than we will ever know, right? Who wants to hang out with a person that always tells them what they can't do? The next is interrupt mistakes. Bring your puppy to where they can finish and be successful. So if you see your dog going to the bathroom in your house, hence why we want them leashed, is so then that way if you catch them, you don't make a verbal big deal out of it. You immediately grab the leash, get them where they need to be, and reward, okay? And if they eat or drink, every 30 minutes. This is no joke. That's why it's written right there. So your rules, again, I'm going to go over them real quickly. Keep your puppy on a schedule. When out, keep them leashed. Contain your puppy in a crate or pen when not supervised. Never punish mistakes. Interrupt mistakes. And bring your puppy to where they can finish with success. And last but not least, remember, if they eat or drink, they need to potty within 30 minutes. So, step 1, this is a really good one. So, take your puppy outside on a leash and bring them to the same place every time. Now, why was that? Well, it's because, one, if you want to keep your yard clean, or if you live in a neighborhood or something like that, and you want to take them for a walk or a certain lamppost, your dog's going to get literally triggered that every time they go to that spot, that's where they're supposed to go to the bathroom. So if you take your dog every time on the schedule, you go to that same exact spot, you're literally triggering this behavior. So then if you need to go for a car ride, or if you need to take your dog someplace, you can literally bring them to that area and you're telling the dog without verbally saying anything, hey, I need you to try to go potty. And you're really triggering it. It's a muscle memory. It's a Pavlovian classical conditioning way of doing something. It's a repeat of a behavior to show the significance of what you're looking for. All right. Step 2, when they go potty, use a marker like, yes, good boy. Yes, good potty. Any of those things. You want a marker with the word yes. Let them know what they're doing. Give them an intermittent marker, which is the good boy, good girl, good potty. You can name it as well. I enjoy naming the dogs that kind of stuff because it does get into their clickers when they go to the bathroom. I say go potty. Go potty! And I literally do it in a nice high-pitched voice, so that way happens when they actually start going to the bathroom, I'm like, good potty, that's a good potty. And I would repeat it because, good, did he hear me? So that's the kind of thing that we want to look at, because when they understand that the yes, good boys, and when they get that, you're going to see them light up. You're going to see them become energetic. You're going to want to repeat it. Just like anybody listening to my high-pitched voice when I do it is probably at that point. Because now that I've been listening to myself lately, I've learned that I have a very deep tone voice. So I'm sure when I get excited, yes, good boy, everybody gets excited because it's really out there and it grabs them. So when you think about, hey, I want my dog to repeat this behavior, then this is the easiest way to do it. They do something I like, I'm going to make a big deal out of it. If they're doing something I don't like, I'm going to direct them to something I do like, right? So if they make a mistake, get them to where they need to be. And number 3, most important step you can possibly imagine, which is repeat step 1 and 2 on a schedule. So it is that simple. Step 1, take your puppy outside on a leash. Bring them to the same place every time. Step 2, when they go potty, marker with a yes, good potty. And step 3, obviously, repeat step 1 and 2 on a schedule. Thanks, Trish. The dogs are in Cecil County. Good. Last but not least, on your screen, I have created a house training schedule as well as a house training accident log. These are 2 forms that we created for Dog Owner University. I actually been using them for years personally. So every time we've gotten a new dog in my house, we've had a schedule. And what this does is that it allows me to know where the puppy will be, who's responsible for the puppy, and then where they have accidents, because then it lets me know how to adjust the schedule appropriately to get the dog's most success. If anybody that's watching this is interested in these forms, I don't have direct access online yet, but if you send me a message and a request, I will be happy to email them as a PDF to you, and you can utilize them if you're struggling with house training. I have personally found that tracking everything I've ever done, I track everything. If you watch my episodes on Stuck in a Truck, you will see that I am wholeheartedly all about, and I mean all about, journaling and tracking everything you do. I have a journal for every single thing that you can possibly imagine. So everything I do has its own journal. Every dog I have their own journals, and those journals cover everything. It covers their house training. It covers their how many times I repeated the behaviors, how many times a day do I train the dog, veterinarian bills, health issues. We keep it going with their entire lives. And this way, anytime that something happens, I'm able to immediately go back and see where it went wrong, what happened, why it happened, and it allows me to essentially fix, rinse, and repeat. Trish, do me a favor and just send me a quick direct message with your email, and I will send it to you tonight if you do that for me. That way I don't have to look it up. So if you just send me a direct message with your emails, I will gladly send these forms to you as soon as I receive your emails, and you will have them in a PDF that you can use, and you can rinse and repeat, obviously. So it's a really good form to do that. You will get both of them. One I use, like I said, the house training. It lets me know where the dog is going to be and who's responsible for taking them out and at what time. And then I have the house training accident log, which lets me know where they had the accident, why they had the accident. Because there's a little number that we have found. It's called the 30, 60, 90. 30 days creates a habit, 60 days enforces a habit, 90 days embeds that habit. So what we have found is that a lot of times dogs, if they're having accidents in the house, they tend to go to the same spot. So with the accident log, it'll let me know how many times the dog has been to that area, and I know I need to either do a deep clean, I know I need to watch the dog more importantly when they're going to that area. So it allows me to understand what's going on to help solve the issue and not have a repeated action. The other big thing I want to tell everybody while we're on the topic of housebreaking your dog is do not use wee-wee pads. Wee-wee pads literally teach your dog to go to the bathroom in the house. So when you're doing this, remember, keep them on a direct schedule. Clean up any mess they have in the house. Vinegar is a great tool to utilize to disinfect the area, kill the odor, and kill that kind of stuff. But you really don't want to teach your dog to go to the bathroom in the house. So it's a very important thing to think about when you're doing the training in that aspect, because you want the dog to always know to go outside in that specific spot that you were teaching about, or at least outside in your general area. So that's housebreaking. That's wait at the door. Since I'm in my office tonight, I would love to find out if there's anybody else that would like something covered that maybe I haven't covered yet, since we're in the training and teaching mode. And I personally love teaching. It's one of the coolest things I ever started to do was probably learn to teach. I really enjoy it. I find this has been the most rewarding career path I've ever had, helping people build their relationships. So while I'm in teaching mode, sitting at my desk with the computer access, PowerPoints from all Dog Owner University, is there anything else that somebody would like to be covered here, since we have at least 10 more minutes before my normal schedule is up? If you have questions, concerns, thoughts, this is a good time to bring it up, because we have, like I said, I have all my PowerPoints ready to rock and roll, so we can get into another subject. This one went a little faster than I thought, so please shoot them a door. We are good to go. We have some time. Let's see here. as my phone's beeping. Let me see. What can I teach you guys next? A little bit of time. Pause at people. So Kelly asked, my puppy paws at new people because he is so excited. I need a little bit more than, I mean, if he's pawing it, I'm like, hey, how you doing? It's a little hard to, that might be just really cute. I'm not really sure unless I see it. If you, what's going on? Would you want it solved? Do you like it? Do you enjoy it? Not really sure. Or is it just the same? Because I mean, it sounds really cute. It sounds like it's a cute thing to watch. Why does the dog... All right, so Susan asks, why does my dog go out, not pee, then comes in and pees? A good question for that one, Susan, would be, do you have a device on your door that says to the dog that they get to choose when they go out, like bells or something like that? When they go to the door, you automatically get up and let them out. If you do, what you're doing is you're allowing your dog, like, so for example, if you use the bells, which I'm not against, I'm for them, but just remember, for every good, there's a bad, right? So upside, if dog wants to go outside, they ring bells, you open door, you let dog outside, right? Downside, dog rings bells, dog goes outside, runs around yard, does a property check, comes back in yard, doesn't go to the bathroom. Your dog's doing a property check, Susan. That's what it sounds like your dog's doing. But if your dog's just going out under, you don't use the bells. So most of the time, if your dog's just going in the yard, they're doing what we call a property check. So they either hear a noise or they're looking for something. They just go outside to check to make sure the property is good to go. They're a dog. That's a part of their job. They're supposed to do property checks and check those things out. They're going out checking odor, checking sounds, making sure nothing's on the property that shouldn't be there. All right, next question. I have a slow bowl to slow down the scarfing dog. How do I get him to ease into eating? Well, the slow ball would do it. The slow bowl. Sorry, my accent is bad. The big thing that you want to look at is you minimize food. So what you do is you slow down the food by lowering the amount of consumption. So a lot of times what those bowls do is they spread the food out so it makes the dog have to work for it. You can put a metal ball in there, or you can use those. So it's just slowing the amount of food. If you have a bowl out and you don't want to use that, you can hand feed a little bit at a time. That's going to slow them down. What I have found personally, which is really, really good overall, if you crate or if you put your dog into a quarantine area, like a laundry room, a bathroom, just an area where there's not many people around, and what you do is you put them in there for about a half hour. So when you go to feed them, you put them in there in that area. I prefer feeding my dogs in crates. They go in their crate, I give them their bowl, they're in there for a minimum of a half hour. By doing that, when the dog realizes they're not coming out, no matter how fast they consume the food, that means they don't get to run around, they don't get to play, they don't get to do anything until the digestive system is started. So the reason why we do that is the dog will go in the crate, I will feed them their food, wait a half hour. By waiting a half hour, their digestive system has started. So now they're feeling a little bit bloated, just like, if you eat a turkey dinner, you're like, oh man, I'm so bloated, and you got to sit down on your couch. I'm helping the dog get to that stage before they start running around and having a zoomie from eating the food. A lot of times they're eating the food so fast because they don't want anybody to mess with it. They want to consume it to get back to doing what they're doing. So by giving them the dedicated time where they start to learn that they're not coming out, they start to eat slower because they don't have to worry about anybody messing with the food. They don't have to worry about losing the food. And they don't have to worry about missing out on running around time because obviously they're locked up. They're in that quarantine area. So the best thing to do is literally feed your dog in the crate. They also learn to love the crate more because you're not leaving during this time frame. So it builds the crate as a higher value. If you're not a fan of crates and you like quarantine area, like a laundry room or a kitchen, and they're sort of limited in that space, it's the same address. So you're just giving them minimal amounts of space and area. All right. He's a jumper and goes insane at feeding time. So if he's jumping up on you, what I would do is I would stand still until he calms down. And then what I would do is I would move the bowl back and forth really slow until he learns to give you the behavior that you want, slowing him down. He has to learn, just like the door. You're moving it back and forth until they give you the behavior you're looking for. Once they give it to you, you put it down, giving them access to it, and going from there. All right, let's see if we have any more questions. See, like jumping but not pawing at the same time. He wants to play with the toddler next door, but he gets too rough. So Kelly asks, jumping, not pawing. So the dog's jumping up on the people, and at the same time he wants to play with the toddler next door, but he gets too rough. I don't know the age of your dog, but most of the time when we're thinking of the dogs jumping up, it's really really simple. I talk about this all the time. It's the invisible dog trick. If you pet an invisible dog, your dog will stop jumping up, and they learn to go where the invisible dog is to be petted. They're jumping for a couple of reasons. Main reasons are this. One, it's a habit that when they're really small, we tend to pick up our dogs and bring them close to our face, and we pet them and smush them, and that's where a lot of love and attention comes from. So in their mind, they believe they have to get to that area to get all the love and attention. The second thing is dogs are extremely attracted to odor. And odor emits from the human body in three main places: our crotch, our armpits, and our mouth. So what happens is they try to get as close as they can to those points. And since our armpits are typically closed because our arms are tight, the two main parts of odor coming out is our mouth and our crotch, causing the dog to want to jump up to get to that area. So my suggestion is typically is that you immediately go to the spot where you want the dog to be greeting people, and you have them pet an invisible dog right there. Your dog will literally go directly to where the invisible dog is, and your dog will calm down in that spot and learn to be pet by sitting, standing, laying down, whatever the invisible dog person is doing. It is pretty funny how it happens. We did have a dog challenge on it. We got some videos from clients. They're not good enough to put on this. They come in blurry from phone shaking and stuff, so I wasn't able to put them on a Dog Talk Live. If I reshoot them, I will gladly show everybody how the invisible dog works. If you've worked with me, you have seen me pet the invisible dog. If I've been to your house, you have seen me pet the invisible dog. The invisible dog is fantastic because dogs are creatures of attention and affection. So when they see that you're giving attention and affection to an invisible dog, they get extremely jealous and go right to that spot to boot out the invisible dog and take over. So Kelly, with a 14-week-old, the toddler is going to be a little bit of an issue. A lot of it is going to come down to is if you got into our program, we would teach you the name drill. So we would teach you direction drills and things like that. The name drill is one of the best drills you can teach because it's a 4-point command. So your dog's name comes into a 4-point command. It comes to direction, correction, recall, and focus. And now I'm really going through that fast, so I'm going to slow down. It's called a direction, correction, recall, and focus. So when you say your dog's name, it's going to mean one of those 4 things. So if you want to correct your dog, direct your dog, recall your dog, or focus your dog, you would just simply say their name based on how we train their name drill. From there, when the toddler is excited and things like that, you'd be able to direct the dog back to you and calm your puppy down so they can learn how to play together. And then we would teach you how to introduce the toddler next door into some of the training so they would become like a team. They'd team it up and work together. So that's what we got so far. I will go into, in our future episode, I will cover the name drill. I think that's going to be really important for everybody to get going. So I'll bring that up and I'll put that in a future episode of Dog Talk. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. If there's any other questions, I'll be happy. Oh, we got one more. I just missed it. Sorry. What are your thoughts on the raw food diet? So this one's from Chris. So I'll make it direct. So my dogs are on a raw food diet. I'm not going to sit here and lie, but they're also on a dry food diet. So I have multiple dogs. I will, to be honest, and tell you straight up, Chris, that the best thing you can do is talk to a pet nutritionist and really see if the diet is what is good for your dog. I'm not the type of trainer that's going to sit there, or person that's going to tell you that it's this way or no way. I believe that stomachs, people, brains, thoughts, training, there's many different ways of doing things. I'm very open-minded, and I'm very willing to learn and listen to people that study and educate themselves on things. So when it comes into a raw diet, I strongly agree with the raw diet. I've had plenty of dogs that are on the raw diet, but I also have a couple of dogs that didn't do well on the raw diet, and they're on a dry diet. So as much as I like the raw diet, and I use a brand called Canine Cravings, is the brand that I use for it. I think it's a good way of doing that. If you're going to go raw, because that way they have the vegetation, they have everything in it. But before you do make a move like that, I'm going to highly suggest you can talk to a pet nutritionist. There's plenty out there. You can go to Pet Nirvana. I know they're a pet nutritionist. So in Bel Air, if you don't have access to one, if you don't know one, shoot me a message. I will gladly refer you to a pet nutritionist where they can talk to you about what's going on with your dog's stomach. They can talk about the nutritional needs. But I'm not going to pretend to be a nutritionist. I don't know enough, and I can't do it. What I can do is I'll see if I can get a nutritionist on the show if we don't get the answers that you're looking for. So I do apologize for not being a hardcore one way or the other on that one, but I just think that every dog is different, and I don't want to point you in the wrong direction on that one. So that would be the best thing. Again, I'm going to get ready to sign off here. So I want to say thank you to everybody for watching. I hope you like, share, and you continue to watch our Dog Talks episodes every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. and they'll be live. We hope that if you have a friend, family, or anybody in the pet industry or any industry that is pet friendly. So if you have travel agents, realtors, or anybody else that wants to talk about their business and talk about how they're pet friendly and how they're out there to help people with dogs and even cats, we're all cool. I'm a cool person when it comes to that kind of stuff. Please let them send them my information. We would love to have them. If you guys are in business, if you're leadership, or if you're just looking for some hardcore motivation, please follow me on official MJ Solar. And tomorrow you can check out my Stuck in a Truck at 8:30 in the morning. So every Wednesday morning at 8:30 in the morning, I will be stuck in my truck and I will be giving you some sort of motivational or business or leadership tip. So it's a really good way that if you're in one of those roles in your companies, businesses, and you're just trying to get motivated just because it's hump day and you need that little bit of oomph to get over it, please follow me on official MJ Solar. It's MJ SOLER, not AR. And you can see some motivational stuff at 8:30 tomorrow morning for Stuck in a Truck. Guys, as always, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for checking us out on Dog Talk, and I can't wait to see you next week. Thanks.